Hi there, Carolyn Peeler with you today in Ellen Hudson's classroom. And today's video tutorial is focusing on creating assembly line cards using the MISTI as a fabulous tool to help with this. To get started, you're going to cut some Ranger watercolor paper 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches, and then you can just simply tape those down. If you'd like, I've just used some spare washi in a design that I know I'll never use for any other purpose. So I'm using that to tape these pieces of paper down. And then I'm using the Kuretake Gansai Tambi watercolors. These are absolutely beautiful pigmented inks and just really wonderful to use. The blue colors I'm using, the light one is called Cornflower Blue, the darker is Menthol Violet. And then for the two on the bottom, I'm going to be using gold. As I said, these paints are really, really beautiful. I'm using the Ranger nonstick craft sheet as my palette for mixing the paints with the water. And as you could see earlier, I used just a watercolor or a water mister to spray water onto this craft sheet to use it to mix my paints and water. So as you can see, I'm just going ahead and painting directly onto these squares, leaving just a slight white border around the edges. I'm also using a number 12 round paintbrush, which is a nice sort of thick, all-purpose, great paintbrush and really works well for this. After you paint, you're going to either dry these with a heat gun, heat tool, or just let them air dry. Now to stamp, we're using this beautiful stamp from Mama Elephant. It's called Hello Friend Wishes, just gorgeous. Now you're going to take your paper that is now dry and stick it onto the MISTI tool. To hold it in place, you can use the magnets that come with the tool if you'd like. Then place the stamp wherever you're going to like it to be onto your finished card front. Once you've done that, put the cover back down onto the stamp, and now your stamp is perfectly positioned for each of your cards. So you can see me work it here with the blue one. So I am inking the stamp now with Versamark, as using that as my embossing ink. Right now it's sold out. By the time the video goes up, it might not be, but if it is, you could also use a different embossing ink, such as the Ranger Emboss It. So use your embossing ink, stamp it onto the front of your card, then take your white embossing powder and pour it over top of the ink, shake off the excess, and then you're going to use your heat tool to heat emboss. Now, one tip before you stamp with your embossing powder, if you'd like, you could take one of the little embossing tools that helps stop the spread of static. And gosh, I forgot to write down the name of it. Now I remember, it's the embossing magic bag. And if you simply wipe that over the top of your card front before you stamp, that will help make sure that there's no static clinging onto the front of your card so that no stray embossing pieces get laid anywhere. So after you've embossed it, you're going to go ahead and put the watercolor onto a card front. For that, I've cut a piece of Ranger Craft cardstock 4 3/4 inches by 9.5 inches, then folded in half. Now I'm setting it onto the MISTI once again. The greeting I'm using is from the same stamp set, and it says, "May today be filled with smiles." So I'm placing it where I'd like it in the card, putting the cover back down, and once again, when I lift it up, the stamp is in place. There's the greeting. So the stamp is going to be in place, and we can ink it. And for that, I'm going to be using the Ranger Jet Black Archival ink. I just really like it. It's just a classic, really nice black ink color. So, and I'm sorry, unfortunately, my camera was not high enough up for you to see me inking it, but I inked it, and now I have stamped it in place. And then I can remove this card and get the next one, put it in place. Now this is really, oh my gosh, this tool is so great, because it absolutely helps when you're doing these kind of projects. So the cover of the card and the inside greeting, I don't know about you, but I'm really kind of picky with aligning my stamps on my projects. And so this tool is fabulous for being able to line it up once, and then it's simply stamp, 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 nice and quick, and you have your project finished. So as you can see, this is actually a very simple project. You can use it with any watercolor ink that you have at hand, any watercolor paper, and then you can back it. As you see here, I've done craft cardstock, but if you have some colored cardstock, you can use colored cardstock. It's just a really easy way to whip out a whole bunch of greetings that you can have on hand to mail out to friends when you need them. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I'll help you out.